We come in peace.
As for its actions, director Jalmari Helander opted for copious violence and gore that bordered on the absurd, and the catharsis of the revenge was played out on an epic scale. This list covers some of the best action movies released in 2023 so far. These are our favorites, although there are many others that are excellent but could not make it to this list of the top 10. These are not only the best but also IMDb's highest-rated films of 2023. Without sacrificing any of the intergalactic action and clever humor that made the series successful, welcome to Universe. Number 10, Plane. Though the one-word title didn't inspire much confidence, the straight-to-VOD 2023 action movie Plane broke free of its budgetary limitations. After his passenger airplane is struck by lightning, pilot Brodie Torrance is forced to make an unscheduled landing on a war-torn island nation. When most of the passengers are taken hostage by dangerous rebels, the only person Torrance can count on for help is Louis Gaspar, an accused murderer who was being transported by the FBI. The indie action romp banked heavily on the star power of Butler to carry the film, and his honest performance elevated the material along with the rest of the stellar cast of Plane. In order to rescue the passengers, Torrance will need Gaspar's help, and will learn there's more to Gaspar than meets the eye. Relying more on suspense and tension than explosive action, Plane succeeded because it added weight to its stakes, and each moment had grave consequences for the story's outcome.
We're getting off this island.
Number 9, Creed 3. After dominating the boxing world, Adonis Creed has been thriving in both his career and family life. When childhood friend and former boxing prodigy Damian resurfaces after serving a long sentence in prison, he is eager to prove that he deserves his shot in the ring. The face-off between former friends is more than just a fight. To settle the score, Adonis must put his future on the line to battle Damian, a fighter who has nothing to lose. Adonis Creed has an old nemesis come back in his life who spared him from prison. He has to come face to face with a past he's tried to forget, and with that come to grips with the guilt he feels with not supporting or running from his past. His old pal then challenges his character in threatening his ego, drawing him back to the ring after retirement.
You out there boxing. I need you to start fighting.
Number 8, Sisu. Even as revenge-based action franchises like John Wick grow increasingly over the top, the Finnish film Sisu upped the ante even further. In the dying days of World War II, Finnish prospector Atami is robbed by a retreating band of Nazis and exacts his bloody revenge. Though Sisu is not based on a true story, the sizzling backdrop of World War II made for a fascinating addition to the revenge subgenre. As for its action sequences, director Jalmari Helander opted for copious violence and gore that bordered on the absurd, and the catharsis of the revenge was played out on an epic scale.
We might have a problem.
Number 7, Dungeons & Dragons: Honor Among Thieves. Dungeons & Dragons: Honor Among Thieves brings the rich world and playful spirit of the legendary role-playing game to the big screen in a hilarious and action-packed adventure. Having spent 2 long years in a dark and dank prison cell after a botched attempt to get his hands on a magical artifact, loot-playing bard-turned-thief Egan Darvis decides he has had enough. And as the once-respected former member of the Noble Harpers and his fierce barbarian companion Holga Kilgore assemble a motley crew of old and new friends, a dangerous mission to reunite with Egan's daughter Kira begins. But the busy streets of mythical Neverwinter have eyes. Evil sorcerers, powerful necromancers, and legendary creatures of lore now stand in the way.
He missed.
Oh, that's not good.
Number 6, Guy Ritchie's The Covenant. Action auteur Guy Ritchie returned to cinemas in 2023 with a more understated outing, and yet Guy Ritchie's The Covenant checked all the boxes of a brilliant action war movie. During the war in Afghanistan, Master Sergeant John Kinley is wounded in battle and must be escorted across miles of enemy terrain by interpreter Ahmed Abdullah Yusfi. Rather than huge action sequences, Guy Ritchie's The Covenant opted for gripping suspense, and the knife-edge thrills are much more rewarding than any amount of copious fighting. Gyllenhaal's performance was particularly strong, and the film was a subtler but no less effective war film than many in recent memory. Number 5, Polite Society. While the bulk of 2023 action movies has been about classic action tropes, the British indie sensation Polite Society succeeded because of how much it transformed the genre. Ria Khan believes she must save her older sister Lena from her impending marriage. After enlisting her friend's help, she attempts to pull off the most ambitious of all wedding heists in the name of independence and sisterhood. A merry mashup of sisterly affection, parental disappointment, and bold action, Polite Society follows martial artist in training after enlisting the help of her friends. Ria attempts to pull off the most ambitious of all wedding heists in the name of independence and sisterhood. Director Nita Manzoor's vision infused Bollywood verbosity with a humorous feminist message that held a mirror to the entire action genre.
Rude.
Number 4, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Unable to mourn the loss of one of their own, the beleaguered Guardians of the Galaxy must save the universe as their team is on the brink of dissolution. Peter Quill, still reeling from the loss of Gamora, must rally his team around him to defend the universe along with protecting one of their own. A mission that, if not completed successfully, could quite possibly lead to the end of the Guardians as we know them. Without sacrificing any of the intergalactic action and clever humor that made the series successful, Volume 3 infused a heaping helping of dramatic tension to tug on the heartstrings. It is unclear whether Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 will be the last one, but it certainly took the characters out on a strong note.
Whoever it was that you were in love with, it sounds more like her.
Her? That's ridiculous.
Do not bring me into this.
Knock it off!
Number 3, Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. Ethan Hunt and the IMF team must track down a terrifying new weapon that threatens all of humanity if it falls into the wrong hands. With control of the future and the fate of the world at stake, a deadly race around the globe begins. Confronted by a mysterious, all-powerful enemy, Ethan is forced to consider that nothing can matter more than the mission, not even the lives of those he cares about most. Ethan Hunt and his IMF group face a mission more deadly than any that came before. They must uncover the secret behind a mysterious new weapon that could be dangerous in the wrong hands. Facing his most powerful enemy ever, Ethan must determine whether his mission is more important or his friends' lives. Number 2, John Wick, Chapter 4. John Wick uncovers a path to defeating the High Table, but before he can earn his freedom, Wick must face off against a new enemy with powerful alliances across the globe and forces that turn old friends into foes. Condemned by the tyrannical High Table to be on the run for the rest of his life, deadly assassin Maestro John Wick, 2014, embarks on a Sisyphean mission of suicidal fury to decide his fate after the merciless carnage in John Wick. Chapter 3, Parabellum, 2019. At last, John's violent journey, fueled by vengeance and grief, ultimately leads him to a fateful confrontation with his former employers, the crime masters that forced him into exile. And as the blood-stained vendetta to destroy those who pull the strings continues, old companions face the brutal consequences of friendship, and all-powerful, well-connected adversaries emerge to bring Wick's head on a platter. But talk is cheap now, guns have the final say.
You ready, John?
Yeah.
Number 1, Spider-Man, Across the Spider-Verse. Even as Spider-Man movies become an abundant commodity in Hollywood, Spider-Man, Across the Spider-Verse found a way to not only justify its existence but blow many of the wall-crawler's other movies out of the water. An epic adventure that will transport Brooklyn's full-time, friendly neighborhood Spider-Man across the multiverse to join forces with Gwen Stacy and a new team of Spider-People to face off with a villain more powerful than anything they have ever encountered. Miles Morales returns once again to save the multiverse. After being reunited with Gwen Stacy, Miles races across the multiverse to try and defeat a powerful foe known as the Spot. He meets many other Spider-People, but Miguel O'Hara doesn't approve of Miles' actions to save everyone. Following canon events, he ends up on a run from Miguel and hundreds of other Spider-People.
And then I looked at my uncle and...
Let me guess. He died?